damn it. Yeah, okay. This is episode number 2. Today I talked with Matt Helms. Matt Helms is a cool guy. Poor guy has to hang out with me more than he probably wants to. But I had a lot of fun talking with him. He is a musician and an audio engineer, and he knows a lot about beer and booze. We drank some booze. It was fun. He's my friend, Matt Helms. Yeah.
Oh, hey. Mm-hmm. I'm in one, you're in one?
Yeah. Because it's getting recorded stereo.
Oh.
So one per channel. So what's up?
Hey.
Yeah.
I recorded something like that the other day, and then I didn't like it. I didn't like that it was split like that when I went to edit it. I just put it all back together.
You mean like separate guitar tracks or what?
It was an interview. It was two separate people.
When'd you record an interview?
I don't know. A while back.
Oh, I thought you said the other day.
Oh yeah, well, it's like 2 months ago was the other day, wasn't it?
I do that too. The other day, you know.
Kind of sounds like a podcast in here.
A little bit.
I listen to a lot of podcasts.
I do too.
So now I feel like I'm in one.
Yeah, it's like it's coming around.
Except I have to listen to my own voice, which I hate.
Yeah, it's pretty awkward. Yeah, how do you feel about after recording musical tracks and hearing yourself?
I don't really do it anymore.
No?
No. It's just too much.
Yeah.
Hearing myself is too much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird.
I like that sound though.
Let's hear this sound right here.
Mm-hmm.
Hellcat Maggie.
That didn't make a sound.
That was a sound. It's real quiet.
So you haven't tried this before?
I haven't. No. Every time
for everything.
Every time I go in there, like I look for the not the bottom shelf, but
the one below that.
The almost poor guy shelf.
Cheers. You gotta give it the sniff first.
It's good.
Is it better than your 2 housewives or whatever that was called?
2 gingers?
2 gingers.
Did look like 2 housewives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this one was only $21.
Yeah.
Tastes
like it's $21.
You think so?
I was never a huge fan of Irish whiskeys compared to other stuff, but I've been more interested in them lately.
How's it compared to the old the Pappy?
It's very similar.
Night? Is it really?
It's very similar.
No, this one's just like
not at all.
1/5 the cost.
Yeah. Maybe less.
Was it good?
Yeah. It's worth it.
Yeah,
for sure. A lot of people say because there's like the standards are like a 15, a 20, I think a 20 and a 23. And obviously like the 23 year is way more expensive, but it's like a little bit too much. Like it's a little too much wood. It's a little too much aging. Mm-hmm. It's like.
So you're saying 15 years the sweet spot?
15 is actually the sweet spot, yeah, and it's the less expensive of the 3. Did you go Christmas Eve or not Christmas Eve, but Christmas party? Did you go across the street with us?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that what you were referencing?
That is what I was referencing. Okay. Yes.
I thought you were talking about the night that you didn't go to Eam.
I didn't go to what?
The pop-up whatever thing.
Oh, no. You went, though, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Did you go by yourself?
There, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I didn't remember you saying that. I thought you went, but I didn't know what you had.
I met a couple friends there that were already there. The ones that were gonna get us in. I just met up with them. That was the one that had the flaming Pappy shots.
Oh, okay.
Or it was like a cocktail kind of that he made with Pappy and then set it on fire.
Mm-hmm. Does that make you feel pretty cool?
Yeah.
You feel pretty fancy when you're doing that?
Yeah.
Just lighting booze on fire?
I feel like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if my taste buds are just too dumb, but I don't know. Like, I can't even tell the difference between a bottle of like Sutter Homes and a $30 bottle. So
Sutter Holmes, is that Katie's brand that she just came out with?
I was trying to think of Two Vines. That's one I drink. That's like $8 a bottle. Okay, I cannot tell the difference between that and dude. The most I've ever had is like a $30 bottle, and it wasn't even good.
Yeah. When you get above 30, usually there's like it is kind of hard to tell. Like below 30, it's kind of hard to tell a difference in anything. And then above 30, it gets a little better. And then above like 75, it gets a little better.
What's the most expensive bottle you ever had?
Well, I have a few bottles that have like started out as $65 bottles, but I've had them, age for 3 or 4 years or 4 or 5 years or something. So that would up the cost of it if it were on a menu somewhere.
And they're just chilling in your house? Mm-hmm. What are you waiting for?
Just the right time.
And what's that?
Never. Dude, I have so much beer too. I have so much like the Abyss from Deschutes or like the, what is it? The Black Butte anniversary reserve that they do. I have a bunch of those. I just never open them.
You're going to have to invite me over. I'll accidentally stumble into your cabinet.
It sounded kind of sexual.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, when I was talking to Ravi last night, he has this bottle of Bushmills that's the 400th anniversary.
Oh, wow.
That he got from the actual distilling factory.
In Ireland?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I don't know I can't remember how much he said it cost or how much it's worth, but he said he's waiting on it too. He's had it for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we went to, we went to Scotland and we went to Islay and we stayed on the island of Islay for 5 days or something. Went to Lefroy and Lagavulin and Ardbeg and all those that are out there. When we went to Lefroy, we paid for like the nicest tour you can get, basically. And it's like a 6-hour experience where you go and you do the regular tour and then you get bussed out to like where they cut the peat, like literally out in the fields, and you like go out there and cut the peat, the soil.
What's the peat?
It's the soil. It's like it's literally just soil. It's like if you went out, it's like all the grasses and everything that have decomposed over the years and like become peat moss, peat soil.
Okay.
But they take it and they cut it into logs. Like it just looks like mud, but they cut it into logs, dry it out for like 3 months. And then you use that to fuel like people on the island just use it to fuel their wood stoves in their house or whatever. Because they don't have a lot of trees, but they can like burn that and it works kind of the same way.
You just got to wait 3 months.
Yeah, exactly. You cut it in the summer. So that's why the whiskeys that are from Islay, they call them peaty. Like they have a really peaty flavor to them because the distilleries use that to dry their germinated barley with. Okay. So it like flavors the barley as it dries it, and it flavors it with that smoke. And so all the whiskeys from Islay, they always say are super smoky or peaty.
Okay.
But anyway, we went to Lefroy, did the full day tour. And then the end of the tour is you go in the warehouse and you do like a barrel sample or like a few different barrel samples or whatever. And whichever one you like, you bottle it yourself and take it home. So like I did one, my wife did one, and we have those up on the shelf. And I've just like never, I opened one when my daughter was born last year.
And it's a fifth?
No, it's a little bit less. Yeah. It's like a 375 mil, I think.
Take you right back.
It was good though, man.
Yeah.
It was like bring a tear to your eye. Good. It was crazy.
Yeah, I got to get over there. That sounds like it'd be pretty cool.
We've been trying to go back. We literally want to like find a time where we could go over the summer. So my kids are out of school or whatever.
Yeah.
And
you want to take them too?
Take them and stay, like literally try and stay for 6 weeks or something on the island.
Damn.
I would freaking love it. She would too. It's just like, and she's not even super into those kind of whiskeys, but man, it's just like the most beautiful, idyllic, like it's like a 30 square mile island, but there's like less than 3,000 people that live there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And they all work at the factory.
Pretty much. Yeah. Or they're like lifers, like people that have just grown up there and they run the general store or whatever.
And they're just burning peat moss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just smelling it.
Just smoky everywhere.
So all their buildings are like the beautiful whitewashed buildings. And, you know, they've got all the distilleries are like right on the water. And then they've got like their big logo on the side or whatever that will say the name. Because it used to be like they would get shipments and deliveries via boat, and the boats had to see where the distilleries were when it was super foggy and whatever. So they have these beautiful whitewashed buildings and then giant black letters on them that say the name of the distillery.
Huh.
And now it's just like beautiful and like romantic and whatever kind of thing. But
in August.
Yeah. It's actually like, I think it's pretty similar weather to here.
Really?
Yeah. Because they're like longitudinally.
Okay.
They're on a very similar line. So it's like it never really gets cold enough to snow, maybe just like a couple times. And then it's super rainy and
yeah, it's just like perpetually raining, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
Not during the summer. During the summer it's not bad.
And everybody's just drunk all the time anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Burning their peat moss.
Dude, you go to the distillery and you go to like the tasting room and you're like at a bar or whatever, and there will be a laminated sheet with all the names of the island's taxi companies on it.
Oh, yeah.
So you can, this is like right there in your face.
They're like the first version of Uber.
Yeah, so you can get there super easy.
That's cool.
We're going to go hopefully in May. I think we're going to go to Mexico.
This May?
Mm-hmm. Puerto Vallarta.
Ah.
And I just found out that Uber has made it down to Puerto Vallarta now. So you can get an Uber around if you need to.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, they're expanding all over the place, but there's certain markets where they still can't exist.
Like country-wise or what? Are they in other countries? Are they in like England and
I think they're international, but there are certain cities in states that I don't think you can get one. I can't remember what it was, but it seems like I went somewhere and I was going to order one, but then you couldn't. There's just, I don't know, different unions keeping them out, I guess.
That was a big thing in New York.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because taxis are life.
Well, and then in Vegas, you can get an Uber or a Lyft, but dude, they make it so hard when you're coming out of the airport. They have to park like a couple miles away. And when you walk out, you can go right up and get a taxi. There's 100 taxis just waiting for you. But if you try to get an Uber, you got to wait for like 20 minutes.
That might be new from when I was there, because I didn't have that issue. But they're doing a new thing here now at the airport where you come out and you get in a queue. You just get in a line of people.
Yeah.
And they send you a code. And then when you finally get up, and just drivers coming all the time, when you finally get up there, you give them the code and they're like, all right, we'll take you wherever.
Yeah. When we came back from Vegas recently, the second car in the queue was a Tesla Model 3. And so that's what we got to ride back in. And the dude was all about it. He's like, we get on the freeway and we're starting to, hit like 65. And he's like, you ever seen a car drive itself? And he all leans back like this. We're like, yeah, dude, we know.
So tell me why you have a Tesla and you're driving Uber.
I know.
Jeez.
Yeah.
How does that even work? Because you have to go like charge and stuff. Like, what if you got a really long fare somewhere and you were like going to run out of power?
You're going to run out.
Would you have to stop with your fare in the back and
I guess
go
so.
Charge it?
Maybe it's got something in the software where you can tell it, hey, this is where I got to go. And they're like, nope. Not gonna make it.
Just kicks the person out.
Mm-hmm. It was pretty cool though. I mean, been in Hargis's, but
oh yeah, I don't think I ever got a ride in Hargis's.
You didn't ride in it?
No.
Oh man,
he pussed out on me.
They are cool.
Yeah, it's like not a bad idea in theory with the lines, but at least when I was there, the lift line was like crazy long, and there would be people like if the line is going here, here's the cars coming in, here's the line. So when you get to the front of the line, you stand and wait, and then you go get in like whatever car they tell you to.
Yeah.
But there's also people coming from this way. So they're all coming in from this way, and they're having to walk past the line of people and the people like trying to get in their lifts. Yeah. And it was just like such a cluster F.
Yeah.
Are we cussing on here?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do it next time.
Yeah, man. I didn't realize the first time I had to come out of there and get in one, I didn't realize that is what they were doing. And so I just saw it pop up on my phone that I needed the white Ford Focus or whatever. And I started walking down the street looking for the guy, and they're like, no, what are you doing? Get over here.
I think you can do it both ways too.
Yeah.
Because was that with Uber?
No, because I usually Lyft.
Yeah.
I usually Lyft.
So on mine, you didn't get assigned to a car. You just got a number saying that you were like, had a car reserved. And so then there was just a line of Lyft cars, and there were people working, like sending like workers that were sending them to each car. And it would just be like, as the queue went up, as the line went up, they would just get, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the cars. And then once you got to the driver, you'd show them your code or your whatever. Code, and then they put it in and find out where you're going.
Yeah. I wonder, I mean, I haven't talked to that many people who do it for a living, but I wonder what they got to have, like some sort of chart, like top 5 of the year, like what is the amount that you can make? What is the maximum amount that someone made, and like how many hours a week did they have to drive?
Yeah,
you would think like somebody could make maybe $100,000 doing it, like if you were the ultimate dude.
Yeah, and you're always hitting those like what's it called, surge zones or whatever. Yeah, it'd be hard though.
Your car's just got like 300,000 miles on it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you just drive.
Did you hear
16 hours a day.
Did you hear Britton say that he took somebody to Seattle one time?
No.
Because like you don't know when you pick them up, you don't know where they're going until you're like they're in your car.
Yeah.
And you accept the fare. Otherwise, you could like turn stuff down.
Yeah.
So they got in and they're like, "Hey, we need to go to Seattle."
Well, that's a perfect example of when the Tesla won't work.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. If you only had a half a tank.
Also, he said like you could drive you could pick somebody up here and drive them anywhere. Like you could pick somebody up here and drive them to LA, and like you're going to get paid whatever. You can't pick anybody up in LA once you're there.
Really?
So if you had like what he did, he had to drove to Seattle and couldn't like just had to drive home unpaid.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't pick somebody else up in Seattle.
So what's the incentive for driving somebody a long distance then?
Exactly. It's just got to be long enough that you're going to get a shit ton of money out of it or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, let's say you drive somebody to Seattle and that's like $300. That's pretty good. But then, you already spent 20 getting there. You're going to spend 20 more getting back. Yeah, dude. I don't know.
He said it was like I think he said it was a Friday night, and him and his wife had like a free hotel room or something at one of the casinos, like not Chinook's, but
she was riding with him.
No, when he was coming back from Seattle, he called her and she drove up there, and they met at the casino, and then they like stayed the night or the weekend or whatever
at Alene.
It wasn't the Alene. It was something. What's north of there?
I don't know.
Spirit. That's not Spirit.
No, Spirit's down here.
Spirit's down here, and Chinook's is at the coast, right? Cherokee something. Is it Cherokee? Does that sound right?
It could be. It might be.
Mojave winds.
Something with
Sierra Mist.
One of the elements: fire, water.
So, what is going to make this podcast interesting?
I'm riveted right now. Are you not?
I've literally said nothing this whole time.
We've been talking about cool stuff, dude.
Like such as
Hellcat Maggie.
Hellcat Maggie. Are you just gonna call it the drinking podcast because you're just trying to get people drunk?
I gotta come up with something.
What about the Codcast? Get it?
Nope, not following.
I mean, you could call it Codecast.
Oh,
but it would
Codman.
It wouldn't have an E.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be Codcast.
Mm-hmm. Well, they used to call me
that sounds
MaxiPad.
like podcast.
They used to call me MaxiPad in high school, so
Padcast.
yeah, good. MaxiPadcast. Padcast.
MaxiCod.
Dude, I was thinking.
Sounds like the what was that? You didn't watch anything from the Super Bowl, did you?
I watched the Super Bowl.
Did you?
Who do you think I am?
Oh, you did. Yeah, with your
It's
kids.
a cultural phenomenon. I'm an American.
What was the commercial with had like Rachel Dratch and John Krasinski?
Oh,
Smart Park.
Smart Park.
Smart Park.
Yeah, that was pretty good. It had somebody else too.
Yeah, I can't remember who the third person was.
I don't know why they didn't get Matt Damon and Ben Affleck though.
They might have only been able to afford John Krasinski and Rachel Dratch, who's done absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is.
She was a SNL. She was a big SNL character. She was on. She like guest starred on 30 Rock.
Oh yeah,
too.
I didn't know that's what her name was.
Yeah,
yeah, she's in lots of stuff. Yeah, there were some good ones. There were also some really bad ones.
Mm-hmm. I think it was more bad than. I just thought the whole thing was terrible.
Dude, it felt like, and maybe I just don't remember. I didn't pay attention, but it seemed like back in the day, they that one's probably not on anything. There you go.
What's that one?
Seems like back in the day, you know, like, do you remember the Super Bowl where they had the 3D Doritos? You remember that?
Oh yeah, like the ones that like puffed up in the middle.
Yeah. So that one, I mean, I don't know why that one pops out in my memory, but it wasn't about the spokesperson or the famous person or whatever. It was just like, we have this item in the commercial and we're going to impress you with it. And then you're 9 years old and you want to go out and fucking buy all of them, you know?
Right.
And now, dude, it seemed like every single one of those commercials, it had somebody famous in it.
And you had no idea what the commercial was for.
No.
It was just famous person after famous person after famous person.
Which was
ridiculous.
Which was okay with the ones with Charlie Day, where he's trying to get his shirt clean.
I don't know which one that was.
You don't watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
No.
Oh, okay.
Don't. Take that off the list as a topic for the podcast.
Charlie Day is in It's Always Sunny, and he's also in. You ever seen Horrible Bosses?
Mm-mm.
He's fucking hilarious, dude. And he was the one in the Tide commercial where he got something on his shirt.
Oh,
and then it just kept recurring throughout the whole thing where he's trying to get his shirt clean.
Yeah.
If you've never seen his stuff though, you wouldn't think it was funny because he's just like, it's just, he is that person.
Who was it? The girl was from Schitt's Creek.
Was she?
Yeah.
I started watching that. I only made it through one episode.
I can't remember. I don't know. She's the main character, but I can't remember her name. But she's she owns the hotel.
Okay. Not the blonde one, the brunette.
Yeah, not his sister.
Yeah.
But yeah, the girl who runs the front desk.
Yeah.
Literally, I can't, like, they say her name 25 times an episode and I can't think of her name. But she would have been in that the thing that you did at the Keller.
Yeah, she was there.
Mm-hmm.
Emily Hampshire?
I actually don't know her real name.
Stevie Budd?
Yeah, Stevie.
Yeah.
That's her name.
Yeah. No, dude, I keep hearing...
she played opposite him in all those commercials, all those Tide commercials.
Okay. She was his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I didn't recognize her.
Doesn't he finally get it clean at the end?
Yeah, he gets it clean and then they're old and then she gets it dirty again somehow. And dude, my son called it. He's like, just wait. He's going to get it clean at some point, and then they're going to be old, and he's going to get it dirty again. And he's like, I told you. I called that. I was like, nice, dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah, people keep talking about that show. What do you think?
I just wanted to play with it. It's springy.
It's a little janky.
No, it works. It does what it's supposed to do.
As long as you don't make it too tight, it's pretty good at just moving around, dude.
It's sort of... Oh, I'm not going to tighten it then. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad, right?
I mean, and it sort of acts like a little... what do you call that?
Yeah, I mean, dude...
A little bit.
No, the audio is not stellar, but whatever.
I like that it says back on it, so you know.
Oh, yeah, because I put it in the other way. And I was like, all right, thanks, Audio Technica.
You did something else like that, too, at the shop one time.
Oh, I was...
I mean, it was some microphone that you had on backwards or something.
No, I had it... It was a top address. And I had it side address. And then someone came through and they're like, yeah, you know, that's a top address, right? And I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, I knew. Cool. Just checking if you knew.
That was when I knew I was going to not be able to respect you for the rest of our friendship.
Yeah, well, someday. Someday I'll make it happen. Impress you with my knowledge of peat moss and booze. You will never be impressed with my knowledge of booze.
You think this is I think this one's top address too.
It doesn't sound that bad. You keep going. Dude, I was going to tell you.
Yeah. What?
I got some Busch Light Pounders in the fridge if you want those.
See, it would be funny if you were joking, but it's...
There's actually Busch Light and Busch.
Can you tell a difference between the two?
Oh, dude, regular Busch is gross.
Why do you have some Pounders in there?
I didn't buy them. Somebody else brought them. But I don't feel like drinking
that
them.
much.
Yeah. They're good when you're just drinking, you know? You don't want to drink 9 IPAs.
Yeah.
You'll die.
But I'll drink like a PBR or something if that's the case.
Yeah.
I'm just drinking something light, or a Corona or Dos Equis.
Or Coors. Coors Light. Do you like 14 Coors Lights?
Oh my gosh. The only like real cheap beer I've ever like genuinely liked is PBR.
Dude, I seriously think there's good batches and bad batches. I've tasted them.
Okay. I could see that.
You think so?
I mean, once they get to be a certain size of company, it's like, it's only about quality assurance at that point. It's like, they know how to make their stuff. They're going to make it. They're going to use the same recipe every time or whatever. And then it's just about like random selections of hundreds of different bottles from thousands of different batches and making sure, like, sensory testing them all and making sure they're all the same, like chemical makeup and whatever, and all the same taste. And it's like people's job that's all they do.
It's just like how many scientists touch their balls before they mix the yeast together. Yeah.
That, I've never heard that theory.
Because that's what happens, right? That's what my mind, there's just like scientists in lab coats, like stirring big pots.
Yeah, probably.
Right?
I don't know where their balls come into it.
Sometimes you got an itch, dude. What are you gonna do? You go
out of the decontamination zone, and then you get scrubbed.
You get scrubbed. You get hosed down.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you have to suit back up before you come in.
Yeah. Dude, you think that people that work there get like lifetime supply of free PBR? And they just have like fridges full at their house?
I bet they get like a monthly allotment.
Right?
Wouldn't surprise me.
That would be pretty fucked up if you own that company and you didn't just hook it up.
Yeah.
You know? If I owned a brewery, I'd just be letting people get hammered all the time.
There was somebody I was following or watching or show or something, documentary I was watching one time where they got like a case, maybe like a case a week or something of some brewery that they worked at. They were allowed to.
That's probably like some boutique bend option.
It was probably something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, that's what it's about, man. Oh, nice. Look at that, dude. I am impressed. That's what it's about.
I thought I was going to break your glass.
When you work somewhere, there's got to be a perk, dude. Like when I worked at Quiznos. Wait, it gets better.
The single sandwich a day.
Dude, yeah. Even if I only worked, when I started working there, when I was 21, dude, it would only be a 3-hour shift, 11 to 2, just for the lunch rush, okay? My my outlook on life was strong. I was going places, all right? And so I'd go in there for 3 hours, make a bunch of sandwiches. Then the boss would let me make one. And I made the dankest sandwiches, dude. I tell you what, I cannot go to Quiznos and get a sandwich from someone else because they don't know how to make them like I do.
Didn't you used to make it big enough to last you like 3 days or something?
I would eat it for lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
I'd make the big ones and I'd eat half of it. I was poor, man. Come on. And so then I'd keep the other half in the fridge. And dude, when I'd make it for dinner, I'd pull it out and I'd put it in the oven. I'd put the oven on broil. So I'd get the Quiznos bake all over again, dude. Yeah.
Did you have a conveyor belt in your oven?
I could have used one. That would have been nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Self crank. Just
no. You got to be careful with the broil, man, because like.
Oh, it'll get out of control. Yeah, real fast.
It'll go 0 to 1,000,000 in like 5 seconds.
Especially a gas broiler or like a gas oven or whatever. Yeah.
Is it different?
It's like just a flame. It's like an upside down flame. That's what a broiler is. It's like a grill. It's literally an upside down grill. But oh man, whenever we do spaghetti, I always make garlic bread. Just like put the butter on it and do the stuff, and then put it under the broiler, and it'll go like 7 seconds. If you not even 7 seconds, you go 5 seconds too long, and it just like literally goes up in flames.
Yeah, you got to watch it like a hawk. Or you're throwing that in the garbage and starting over.
What is this?
How many times have you burned it, caught it on fire, and thrown it away?
I don't think I've ever caught it on fire, but it's a pretty regular basis that I have to like go to the sink and take the back of a knife. Yeah. And you scrape off the black until it's down to like the edible stuff.
Yeah, man. And then your kids are like, can't eat this. What'd you do to it, Dad? You're like, come on, man, I'm trying in here.
I don't think I've actually had to throw it away. Maybe I have a few times.
Dude, I made a pot of soup once. And you know how the last thing that you add is going to be the strongest because it hasn't been cooking in there? Well, I didn't understand science that much. And I put some rosemary in this potato soup. Yeah. You only need like one thing, like not a handful,
like just a sprig,
just one little sprig. And dude.
And you did it like right at the beginning?
No, I did it at the end.
Oh, really?
I ruined the whole batch. You couldn't eat it. I was so disappointed, man. Yeah.
They do the same thing with beer when they make beer.
Yeah.
It's like it's with the hops. So the very first hops that go into the boil, because usually a boil is like 60 or 75 minutes. And the first hops that go in are all just the bittering hops. So you don't actually hardly taste them at all. That's what makes a beer super bitter. And then like the closer you get to the end of the boil, the more you start tasting, and then the more you start smelling. And so the ones that are only in the boil for 5 minutes. Or if they like dry hop it and they put it in the fermenter, once it's in the fermenter, that's all just like aroma. It's like you barely even taste it, you just smell it. So that's how they create like profiles, like hop profiles of IPAs and things. Super bitter to all aroma.
Why don't you make beer?
I know, right?
You know more than the dudes working at Anheuser-Busch.
I know more than the dude who used to work at Quiznos. I would love to. That would be my like dream job.
Yeah.
If it wasn't like, it's kind of hard to start over in the middle of a career, like start over a new career.
In your mid 30s.
In your 40s. And have to like you would be back at the bottom of the barrel and you'd be on the lowest person on the totem pole. Yeah. Again. And
so it'd be like right now.
Yeah, exactly. You're like working 70-hour weeks and getting shit on and doing all that, but you'd be working for like $15 an hour. And then like, from what I've seen, like some of the biggest like brewers, like not like the celebrity brewmaster guys or whatever, but a full like brewmaster at a place like whatever, a Worthy or a Deschutes or something like that. Those guys are going to make maybe like 70 grand a year, 75
For the head brewmaster? Mm-hmm. Damn, and that takes what? At least 10 years to get there?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you're just a brewer, like you're probably making around 40.
Yeah, you got to own the shop to make any money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you, as much as you love it and want to do it, like how do you make that a career when you've got kids? And
well, that's the choice that people have to make, right? They either keep doing what they're doing because they're comfortable, or they quit and do what they like, but then they're broke.
Yep.
It's like the artist mentality. And I saw some slide somewhere the other day where it's like 70% of businesses fail within the first 10 years. Mm-hmm. So that's not a very good indication.
I believe that.
Yeah.
And isn't it like, if you're going to open a new business, you have to be prepared to not take a salary for the first 5 years or something like that?
Yeah. It said 2/3 of new business owners don't have a salary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how you would do that. You would have to
be independently wealthy or have a
venture capitalist. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, you could be a brewer when you're 20 years old. Mm-hmm. You have no expenses and no family and whatever. Chitlins. Yeah. It's like going on tour. Like, yeah, you can go on tour. That's super easy when you're 21.
Well, so this is one of the things that popped in my head when I knew you were coming over, and I wanted to ask you.
This is going to be a topic. It's a topic for the podcast.
It's a topic. We're getting there. We're only 36 minutes in. When in your life did the thing happen that sent you on this path that you're on? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Career wise?
Yeah, just like life wise. I mean, like, it's probably when you met your wife. What? Where are we going?
I said career wise or sexually.
Oh, well, we can elaborate on both.
Okay, we'll do them. Coming back to that one.
Okay.
I mean, I was a musician my whole life. My dad was a drummer, and I started playing drums when I was like 5, 6, and then took piano lessons for 12 years and guitar and all that. But I mean, always being in bands growing up, I was always like doing sound for bands and enjoyed that, and would like do it at my church that I went to growing up, which was like nothing, but you know, every week somebody was assigned to run the sound, and it was like
killed it.
It was like it was like a 1960s soundboard where you had to like physically like push super hard to actually get the faders
cool
up.
As hell.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, and
you got to record the tape of the sermon or of the maybe we recorded the whole service, VHS? And then at the end, no, it was like a cassette tape.
Okay.
And then at the end, you had the cassette tape duplicator, and all the old ladies who couldn't hear what was said during the service would be standing in line, waiting for you to get done duplicating, so you could give them a tape of the service.
So they could go home and listen to it. Put in the cassette deck.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was like all through high school, and then let's see. Sometime when I was in high school, I emailed. I still can't remember. There was like a magazine that was like a live sound magazine, or maybe it was just like Mix or something like that, and it had a profile on Van Halen's front of house engineer. And I
knew it was going to get to Van Halen somehow.
For one reason or another, Right Here, Right Now was real big for me. Do you know that one?
Oh, I know that one.
You know the like double VHS tape? Yeah.
VHS tape.
There was a VHS, like there was the double CD album.
Okay.
And then there was also a double VHS of the concert.
Okay.
I used to like fall asleep to that every night.
No, I mean, I know those songs obviously, but no, I didn't know they released anything like that. That's pretty cool. For that, what was that, like 94 or something?
Right here, right now, it's probably like 92. It was the Van Hagar years.
Van Hagar.
Hellcat Maggie.
Yeah, 92.
Oh, what did I say?
You said 92, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, I think I did.
Oh. No, actually, I think it's 87, so I win.
So anyway.
Cool, I know more about Van Halen than you do.
That'll be the next topic on the podcast. So
okay,
they were doing a profile of the front of house engineer for Van Halen, who I loved at the time. And for one reason or another, back in the day, they would put the dude's email address in there. Like, it seems ridiculous. I guess, like...
We didn't have email in 92?
No, it wouldn't have been 92. It would have been, like, 99, 98, 99.
Okay, so this is...
But still, like, kind of at the beginning of email.
Yeah.
Like, I remember my friend telling me that there was this new thing called Hotmail.
Ooh.
And you could get your own email address for free. Whereas, like, before that, you had to have...
You had to have AOL or something, right?
It was your service, whoever your service was that you got email through. So Netscape. It was like, yeah, it was like my dad's name at Comcast.com or whatever.
Yeah.
And you could never, that was the only email address you could have.
Yeah.
So anyway, I emailed the front of house guy for Van Halen when I was like, how old would I have been then?
99, you would have been 15.
15?
Yeah.
Yeah, 14, 15.
Yeah.
And I was just like, how do you get to do what you do?
And it was the only email he got that year.
Probably.
He's like, oh my God, what is it? Who is this?
I found him later on, like in my like late 20s. I found him on Facebook or Instagram or something. And I like DM'd him and was like, hey, I emailed you as a kid and now I do what you do. And like, I want to say thank you and whatever.
You should have been like, why didn't you tell me to do something else?
Yeah, exactly. Tell me to follow my dreams, asshole. Jim Yakubuski was his name.
That's a good one.
So I emailed him and was like, hey, how do you get to do what you do? And he lived in Florida at the time. He was like, there's a cool school down here called Full Sail. That
he was getting kickbacks.
Probably.
Yeah.
Or he was like an instructor or something.
Yeah.
So literally from the time I heard that, like when I was 15, I was like single track mind from then on. I was like, I'm going to Full Sail. That's what I'm doing.
That's pretty cool. You figured that out that early.
Yeah. I can't remember why or like why it was such a big thing. And usually like I'll start things and I'll get tired of them. Mm-hmm. And that was something I just never got tired of. And I always wanted to learn more. And I was just super into it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, because most people are like astronaut, fire truck driver, Quiznos employee. You know, you just move up the list of awesomeness.
Why a fire truck driver specifically? Not even somebody who fights fires.
Because the guy that's up front,
yeah,
he's okay. The guy in the back, that guy knows what's up.
Well, you didn't say that. You didn't say he was the
back of the fire
rear
truck driver. Yes.
Okay.
Right?
Mind.
Dude,
I shouldn't have interrupted you.
That guy's loving life. Tell you what, man.
Bringing up the rear.
Yeah, dude, because I started getting into music. I think things happen once you hit high school, right? That's when you kind of, at least you hope that you start getting into something. But the fact that you could know what you wanted to do and you're still doing it 15 years later and you still enjoy it, that's pretty cool. Because, I mean, I played in bands and I played music, played drums, played guitar, played piano. I just kept teaching myself stuff for years, but I didn't want to go to school out of high school. I thought it was... Yeah. I thought it was dumb. I thought it was too establishment. Like, why do I need a piece of paper to prove to someone that I can work somewhere or something? And then, dude, I was 21 years old working at Radio Shack. And I was like, what the fuck am I going to do with my life? I can't keep working here. And so that's when I saw Conservatory of Recording Arts in Tempe. And so that was, kind of like you. I mean, that's the equivalent. Although, I mean, they shit all over Full Sail at the conservatory,
Yeah,
but it's
which
because
they should.
It's their main competition. Of course they did.
Yeah.
But they also offer broadcast and like all kinds of other avenues, right? It's not just
Full
live
Sail?
sound. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they've got they have an entire film program that's all just like they have backlots that they've built where they actually film a movie and like these kids get to help. They used to have they do have a video game design program.
That's cool.
So it's all these like vampire kids who just sit and code all day, and you like
emo kids.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You could always tell who the game design kids were even back then because they were just like pasty white and like probably the smartest person you've ever met in your life.
Yeah.
And then they used to have one called digital media, which is what my wife did. But they've broken it up into like, because there was like graphic design, web design, 3D modeling, and like a bunch of other weird stuff, all within the one, what was it called? Design program or whatever. Of which, like, you know, she doesn't use any of the 3D modeling and stuff like that. Like that didn't need to be in there. But so now I think they've split it up into like, they might have like just a graphic design program and just a, 3D modeling program or whatever. But yeah, they have a ton of different stuff. And I went there because I specifically wanted to do live sound. And it was one of the only places really being taken seriously as a live sound school. Like that didn't really exist that much. The recording schools were all over the place.
Yeah.
And even like a lot of major colleges were starting to offer recording programs and everything. But I found like one place in New York that had a specifically live sound degree, and but they weren't even like anywhere close to as progressive as Full Sail was.
Yeah, I remember looking things up, you know, just being at work at Radio Shack, you know, like selling batteries to people.
Selling Coke out of the back.
Telling them about progressive scan DVD players and TVs. I remember being there just like looking at websites trying to figure out what I was going to do. And at that point, like I knew I wasn't going to go to like a 4-year college and get a business degree or something. I was like, dude, this sounds pretty cool. I'll go learn how to record bands. And so as I was looking them up, I think I did come across Full Sail. And there was like a couple in LA that looked pretty shitty. And there was one in New York that, I don't know, just the one in Phoenix seemed like it was the way to go. And that was 2005. When did you go to Full Sail?
2003 to 2005.
Okay. So basically the same time.
Yeah.
And dude, in 2005, when I got there and I started learning everything, I was like, this is really cool. I appreciate this for what it is. But I could tell as I was in the program that it was not a career. I was like, there's no way I'm going to get a job in a recording studio making a decent living and not want to kill myself.
Yeah.
And so it was.
Did you just not want to work in a studio?
Well, I knew they told us forever, and we could see the writing on the wall. We could tell that digital was coming through.
Sure.
And that, dude, like I know how to clean the heads on a 2-inch tape machine. Or I did. I don't know how to do it anymore.
I used to know how to stripe time code on a 2-inch tape.
I did that too. Yeah. No, that's that's not a skill you need to have.
Yeah.
You know, there are now, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 real studios that have consoles and record to tape.
And the only people still doing it are the super rich, high profile people who...
Mariah Carey and whatever. She's got a few new Christmas songs.
That's not who I was going.
That's not what you're thinking
That's
of?
not where I was going.
I mean, someone else.
I mean, Maroon 5. I mean...
Someone. But yeah, dude, I could see the writing on the wall then. And I was in the school. And so I was like, I can move to LA or Nashville or New York, intern, or be the Chinese food guy, you know, for who knows how long.
Yeah.
And then maybe start making, I think minimum wage back then was like $8.
Yeah.
You know, I can make $8 an hour. And I was like, that's not going to work, man. It's not going to work. And so I came back here. That is what
you have to do.
I came back here, and part of the program is you had to complete a 3-month internship at some sort of institution that they would consider part of the program. So I tried to get on.
Like a studio or anything.
Yeah, like a studio or a post house or something.
Which didn't really exist out here. I mean, not any like professional good. I mean, let me take that back. There were some really good studios in Portland. There were professional ones that were really good studios, but it's like anything else where they just like good enough is okay. Well, so it's like they're just small, backwoods kind of places that aren't going to be able to afford multiple staff, let alone bringing on an intern, let alone whatever. Like,
no, they didn't want
it wasn't that level of studio.
They didn't want some 21-year-old turd hanging out. Right. And I totally get it now. But back then, if you didn't figure out where you were going to intern, you would fail the entire program.
Wow.
And so I had 30 days. I moved back to Portland on October 1st. So I basically had until Halloween to figure it out. And I was the last one in my class of 11 people to get placed. And I didn't get the internship until like October 24th or something. I was shitting my pants, dude. And there was a place called Rex Post. Did you ever hear of that?
Mm-mm.
I don't know what they did, but it went out of business. They don't exist anymore.
It was like a post-production facility?
Yeah, I think so. But they wouldn't take me for whatever reason. And then...
Who?
I know, like, why?
Why? Look at that.
I sent him a headshot. Look, I don't know what happened.
Look at what you're working with. Why wouldn't they want this?
Throw that in the garbage can. Don't answer his phone calls.
Hey, you guys cool with weed here?
I can bring you Quiznos sandwiches. But so I ended up getting an internship at the news. Just, what am I trying to say? News studio?
Just the news.
Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean.
Just say the news.
It doesn't really exist anymore now. It's KPTV, KPDX, which is the local Fox affiliate. Okay. So it was like really weird. It was two stations joined together in one building, and it's out there. We're out there pretty often in that area. You can see it when you drive past certain buildings.
Oh yeah.
And so I went out there, and the only team that would take me was the commercial production department. And so I worked with this dude, and he was super cool. I mean, he was really awesome to me. But I worked with him. He taught me how to write fucking 30-second TV jingles, which had nothing to do with what I went to school for.
Yeah, and so that's not where you wanted to be going.
No.
Yeah,
dude. And now, I mean, local news, dude, it barely exists. You ever go on Indeed and look at the job market?
Oh yeah,
dude, there's always like,
I've been looking right now.
Be a Meredith TV producer, blah blah blah, because that's the company that owns them, Meredith, and those guys are in big trouble, man. That there's no reason to watch your local news network anymore.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah. You try and go on one of those sites and you put in the word like engineer or technician. If you're like AV technician or like audio engineer or something, it's just hopeless.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't exist here for one thing. But there are a lot of engineers working for like Intel and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But none of them do this for a living. What about the ones that change where your microphone is for a living?
It's a weird thing.
It's, I don't know. I've been thinking about that if I want to continue in my chosen field and progress and whatever, be serious about it and not just be an AV tech, but actually go back to being an audio engineer. It's like either my current employer has to change the way they do things, or I just have to like leave Portland. Because it's like, it really is the best company to work for here, period. And so I'm not going to go work for any of the other ones because they're all so much worse. And it just, there's just no like really good sound companies, you know what I mean? Because they just don't care about it up here.
Well, what you want to do requires you being on the road, and so you can't.
There's some local markets that even, I mean, doing the corporate thing isn't that bad, but it's like we still don't take audio seriously, even in what we do in the corporate world, like some companies do, you know, with buying different types of manufacturers and different systems and different things that, you know, broaden our, what's the word? Appeal. Yeah. Like we've got one brand of everything that we do almost, you know, for audio.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's fine because they were not an audio company, you know, they just started doing it to supplement their video side. So they can't be expected to, you know, be on the forefront of the audio market. But then nobody is. Like all the other actual audio companies in town just suck because nobody cares about high value production stuff here, unless it's corporate and unless it's, you know.
Well, yeah,
whatever.
I wonder if things will change in the next 10 years. Like, cause dude, Portland's blowing up.
Yeah.
You know, if the baseball stadium gets built and they continue doing all these condos, like I'm really curious to see what's going to happen in the next 10 years. Cause they were talking about this, you know, 5 years ago about it blowing up, and it did. And now I don't know. It's interesting to see what's going to happen. Cause I think we've been due for some sort of recession for a while.
Yeah.
And the upcoming presidential election might sway things one way or the other. So I don't know. I want to buy a house, so I hope it happens.
Are you just renting here?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. This was my brother and his wife and their kids' place. And then they decided to move to Bend. And so it happened right at the time that I needed a place. And so,
nice.
Yeah, been here for almost a year and a half. But
how long have you had that pizza peel?
It's pretty awesome, right?
That's like it's a real deal. That's a real, like something they'd use at Domino's or something.
I like pizza, bro.
Do you make a lot of pizza? Like homemade?
I like to get, you know how you can buy the crust or the dough from Bellagio's? I mean, you don't have Bellagio's out there, do you?
No,
do you?
Yeah. We have one right next to us.
Their dough, so good, man. So
There's a lot of places. I mean, even like really good pizza places sometimes will, like wood-fired places, whatever, local places, they'll sell you their
pizza rolls,
their raw dough. Maybe.
I doubt
I actually have never been there.
Dude, we gotta go.
Have you been there? Ever?
My brother went there. He said it's good. Everybody else says it's the best in Portland.
Yeah, totally. Or like top 3 at least.
Yeah.
The only thing I've heard is that they're actually super snooty and like they know, this is probably just like an urban legend, but it's like they know people that are from the neighborhood. And if they see somebody come in who's from the neighborhood, they'll like let them in front of you in line. If they can tell you're like a out of towner or something, I don't know. Or they
sounds like something you would do if you owned a pizza shop. You would let me in first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'd let other people in first.
Make that guy wait. I just have like a fake mustache and...
Hey, Ted, keep that guy outside. Ted's my bouncer.
Yeah, Ted's strong.
You're not going to fuck with Ted.
Nope.
Oh, man, you can hear
That's an airplane.
You get real good airplane noise here. I hope the Audio Technica AT2020 was able to pick that up.
Yeah, it's a great mic. It'll do it.
Do you listen to a lot of podcasts?
I do listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
Dude, I like them because this might be a sign of me being an old man. Because, you know, in my teens and my 20s, I was always listening to music all the time. You know, it's like Tom Petty and then more Tom Petty and then like lots of Tom Petty.
I bet you've never heard a Tom Petty song.
I've heard it a ton since I started hanging out with you.
You haven't heard one all the way through.
But now, dude, probably within the last like, I don't know, 3 years, I don't really listen to music when I'm going places, you know? Like if I'm driving to work or if I'm hanging out doing things and it doesn't require full brain power, like I'll just listen to a podcast.
Yeah. I listened to Sigaros on the way here today. And I was thinking about it. That was like one of the first times I've listened to music in my car. for months and months and months because I always listen to podcasts or listen to NPR.
Yeah.
But it's almost always podcasts. That's this right here.
Oh, I know what that is.
You ever heard that all the way through?
Yeah, so I don't know. There's just like there's a lot of content now.
Yeah.
I like music. I'm not some weirdo.
Yeah.
But you can only listen to Zeppelin so many times.
Can you though?
Dude, I wanted to talk about Tool too.
Why?
I can't talk about it with you though.
I don't have a lot of Tool knowledge.
You don't.
I mean, like actual tools.
Dude.
Talk about bandsaws?
Dude, so you want to talk about
Bandsaws.
You want to talk about bandsaw? I don't know shit about bandsaw.
Dude.
I know
about as much as
handsaw, bandsaw,
Randsaw.
or grandsaw.
That's when you get super old. You got a grandsaw running around.
My grandpa's really good with saws. He could talk about that. Where was I going?
Where were you going?
Podcast, music. Oh, Tool. Okay. Yes. So that's what blows my mind about you, knowing you and your personality and the type of music you listen to and how you've been listening to music for a long time. The fact that you've never listened to Tool is pretty crazy to me because, dude, when Lateralis came out in 2001, that was like one of the most important albums.
Yeah.
That like changed a ton of stuff for me.
Yeah.
And you never even heard it?
I'm sure I've heard things off of it.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
I took a hard left turn around like late 90s and started going down the Dave Matthews Band road.
Okay.
So I got a lot more into the folky stuff. Started listening to a lot of like The Doors and just like old 60s, psychedelic, whatever crap. And that was like probably around the time that Tool and a couple other bands were just like really hitting it. And so I had like even like my brother was super into Alice in Chains and I wasn't. I like thought they were super stupid.
Yeah, I didn't like them either.
Later on I like learned to appreciate them, but they've never like been a big band for me that's like hit me where I itch. And even bands like Radiohead and Pearl Jam and Tom Petty, even like I've discovered them a lot later and they've become like huge parts of my life, but I don't know, it was way later in life than when they were actually like a big band,
Yeah.
I got into Radiohead on In Rainbows. That was like the very first album that I like listened all the way through and like loved it and then started working my way back. And now I love all their stuff, but when I wasn't listening to Creep or, whatever. I wasn't listening to Kid A. I wasn't listening to whatever.
Kid A's good though.
Now it is. Yeah, I love it. But I didn't listen to it growing up.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You ever think about the fact that you and I, being born when we were born, we have access to everything that the Beatles ever put out, everything that Zeppelin ever put out,
Yeah.
We got to listen to all of it right in a row.
Yeah.
We didn't have to wait 2 years for a new album to come out. So that's way different to be able to experience it that way than to be somebody in the 60s who had to wait. Because maybe you would have liked Zeppelin in 71, 72 when they put out 4. But then, you wait a couple years, House is the Holy, and you wait a few more and Presents. You're like, dude, fuck these guys. But when I got into Zeppelin in high school, I had all 100 songs or whatever that I could listen to whenever I wanted.
But what about a band like Pearl Jam?
I never really got into Pearl Jam that much.
So you could like that would have been the Led Zeppelin of your era of your age, where you would have had to like if you really liked their first album or whatever, then you would have had to wait a year and a half and then go wait outside the record store and get their second album. And then if you really like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it would have been that kind of feeling.
Yeah. So it makes me wonder for people now that are getting into Radiohead that had never heard it before and they could just listen to anything they wanted. Because the last couple albums, meh. Like, what's the one that what's the one that came out most recently?
The one that was the one that had the Burn the Witch on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. Moon pools or
Moon-shaped pool.
Yeah.
A moon-shaped pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's okay.
Yeah.
And I like what's the one before? Something with kings?
King of Limbs.
King of Limbs.
Yeah.
That one's all right too.
Yeah.
But
I liked King of Limbs.
In Rainbows?
Yeah.
Dude.
I mean, that's me. Yeah. Personally, I feel like that's the best album because that's the one I like really got in on. And it's one that I can sit and go top to tail and just do it over and over and it never gets old.
Well, and for me, it came out in the fall of 2007. And the reason I remember this is because my first son was born September 7th, 2007. Mm-hmm. So that album reminds me of him and becoming a father. Mm-hmm. And so there's like a different aspect that I associate with it every single time I hear it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love albums that do that for you.
Yeah.
That would have been 2007, 2008 is right around when we were moving out here.
Yeah.
And I think that was like, because we saw them on the In Rainbows tour and it was one of the first concerts we went to out here right after we moved.
We talked about that, right? Did you see him in Auburn?
Auburn. What's in Auburn?
I think it's called the White River Amphitheater.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Up sort of near Seattle.
Yeah. Like off of one of those highways.
Mm-hmm. It was the one where they had all of the LED fixtures that were the tubes.
Yeah,
they were the long tubes, and there were like longer ones on the side, and then they kind of stepped up and in, but they could map all down the tubes, and they all had them like above their heads. I always remember that set design. It was amazing.
I don't remember that part at all, and I think we talked about this before. I just remember getting stuck in the parking lot.
Oh yeah,
on the way out.
Yeah,
because their whole thing, that tour, was like being environmentally friendly and cutting down on their carbon footprint, and then they have the concert. Way out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
There's no way you could take public transport to get there.
Oh, no.
And dude, we left. I think they did 2 encores. 2 or 3.
Probably, yeah. 2. I think they did 2.
We left, I think, during the first or second encore. I can't remember. But we were like, let's get out of here. This was cool. We're done. We got out to the parking lot, and we couldn't even leave the spot for an hour. Mm-hmm. And then we finally get out. Another hour to get to the road. Yep. Then that's a 2-lane highway
back to the interstate.
To get to the interstate.
Yeah.
Dude, we spent almost like 4 hours trying to get out of the venue. It was ridiculous, man. And Carly had to work the next day, and we didn't get back to Portland until like 5 in the morning. Yeah, because after you drive back from Seattle, so she had to call in sick.
Oh, that's crazy. I don't remember the after of it so much. I'm sure we drove back to Portland. We probably didn't stay in Seattle. But getting in was so bad. We missed the first song, or like most of the first song.
Oh, really?
And the opener and everything. Because we thought, like, most amphitheaters are like 1/3 pavilion and 2/3 lawn. Mm-hmm. So everybody's GA, or 2/3 of the people are GA. So they're trying to get there super early and wait in line and do all these things. And then if you're reserved, you can wait and get there, 15 minutes before the show. But White River, for some reason, is flipped from that. And it's 2/3 pavilion, 2/3 seated people with reserved seats, and 1/3 GA. So all 2/3 of those people had the same idea, like, oh, we can all get there, 15 minutes before it starts or whatever. So we were waiting on that 2-lane road trying to get in for an hour and a half. And then, ended up missing the first.
Yeah, dude, who thought that was a good idea?
Yeah.
And I'm sure all the people that live out there, a bunch of farmers or whatever, dude, I'm sure they're super pissed. Mm-hmm. Every time there's an event, you just can't go anywhere for like 10 hours.
That's how our amphitheater growing up was. It was called Deer Creek. And it was kind of next to the interstate, but I'm not, there was an interchange there. But it was like, there were 3 other ways to get into it, and they were all 2-lane roads. And it was 2-lane roads through the cornfields, for miles and miles and miles. It was crazy.
This is in Arkansas?
Yeah. The Ozarks. Good old Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Noblesville, Indiana.
Mm-hmm. Noblesville?
That's where the amphitheater was.
What town did you grow up in?
Anderson,
Indiana. What was that like?
It was
Edgewood? Chesterfield?
Yeah, those are some areas.
Hoosier Park?
Hoosier Park. That's the big racetrack and casino now that's there. There's also a huge Nestle plant that's been built since I left, and that's like where my mom works, my brother works.
Chocolate?
They do every Nestle drink.
Oh, really?
They took every, except for the waters, they took every Nestle, like Nestle Quick and whatever, all that stuff. They took every drink plant from all over the world and shut them all down, and they moved them all to this one consolidated factory. Like
strawberry and chocolate?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Probably have a separate floor for the strawberry.
Your mom probably hates Nestle Quick, huh?
Maybe. She got in like super early because they built the plant like right around when I was graduating high school. And that was right around when my parents got divorced. And so she needed a full-time job, and she got into HR with them. Like before the plant was even built, she was working in like a little outbuilding or whatever. So she's been there for 15, 16 years. And then my brother started working there a couple of years ago on a line. But that's Anderson used to be, they used to have 23 GM plants. And it was everything from like building alternators to doing headlights. Like it's just factories. It's just
that's pretty
assembly lines and whatever.
Pretty close to Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was all Delco. Used to be called Delco Remy, and then it was called Delco, and then AC Delco, and then GM bought all of it.
So they'd make it there and then ship it up to Detroit?
Ship it up to wherever the assembly plants were, yeah.
Huh.
So like my grandparents both worked there. My great grandma worked there. My dad worked there his whole life.
That was a good job back in the day.
It was great, man. If you didn't like have a specific like thing you wanted to leave to go to college for or whatever, you left high school and you got a job in the plant, and it was like really good pay, really good benefits, and like they took care of your family and all this stuff. So we had like we were blue collar, but we had a really like comfortable childhood. And my mom never worked. It was always my dad.
Yeah.
But he was a tool and die repairman in a alternator factory for like my whole life.
So anytime somebody had a question about a car, would he just be like, yep?
No, he didn't care that much.
He's like, I'm off the clock. We're not talking about that shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's go play golf.
Yeah, that's like one of the biggest industries that I'm sure no one ever thought would disappear.
Mm-hmm.
And they had union representation. They had good wages.
Yep.
You could be like the American dream, you know, just have one income, take care of your whole family, pay for your house, send your kids to college, whatever.
Yep.
And then, dude, that whole industry just decimated.
There were 23 plants when I was growing up, and the town had like 130,000 people. And now there are 0 plants. Like as soon as I graduated high school, they shut the last plant down,
Whoa.
Tore it down completely. And now there's 50,000, maybe like 40 to 50,000.
80,000 people left.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's like it turned into a ghost town. It was like a blue collar ghost town. So there's just like a Walmart and a whatever. And so then the Hoosier Park came in down by the interstate, and that's the big casino and horse racing track.
Ooh.
And that like got business going a little bit. And then Nestle came back into town and built their huge plant, and that got business going a little bit. Because they were probably, I don't know for sure, they were probably down to like 30,000. And then Nestle and Hoosier Park and all these people came in and tried to revamp it a little bit. And now maybe they're up to like 50,000.
Damn.
But it's still...
So it was way different when you were a kid versus what it is now.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it was.
But I mean, like...
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it when you were growing up? Did it seem like a cool place to live?
Yeah. We didn't travel a ton, so I didn't like know a lot about other areas. The only thing we would do is like every summer for 2 months, we would drive to Florida. We'd drive to Daytona Beach, and we stayed at like the same hotel every single year for 2 months during the summer, or 2 weeks, during the summer. And that was like, so I knew like driving from, we'd stop in like South Carolina because we had friends that lived there. But so I knew from like driving from Florida to Indiana, like what things looked like. But other than that, we never traveled anywhere really.
Huh. So do you think that has an effect on how much you want to travel now?
Maybe. I mean, I have traveled a ton now. Yeah. Maybe that's just wanting to see things. But then there's also a aspect, like we've been thinking about moving back to the East and being closer to family. You didn't tell you that?
You just going to drop that on this podcast?
I told you that. No, is this a podcast? What is this about?
Well, right now it's just two dudes talking in a kitchen.
Podcasts have themes. Have you ever heard of a theme?
We got a theme. We're talking about Hoosier Park in Indiana, bro.
I want to know who would actually ever download this or listen to it.
We'll see. Well, maybe
Besides
we'll get
your mom.
Maybe we'll get Hellcat Maggie to sponsor this bitch.
No, you got to get. Who are the big podcast sponsors? Stamps.com. That's
Hanes,
the big one.
Underwear.
No. Boba socks. Bomba. That's what it is. Bomba socks.
Bomba socks?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. But maybe they'll do it. I don't know.
Stamps.com is the huge one. You always hear.
Does anybody use that ever?
I don't know, but they sponsor like 50 different podcasts.
Dude. Yeah, and the thing about the sponsors on the podcast, like, I hit the 30-second button. I skip past them.
Yeah.
I'm not listening to that.
Yeah, totally. That's ridiculous. But it pays for their living wage or whatever.
Exactly.
What am I going to do with this?
I don't know.
Do you want to record yourself getting me some more water?
Are you thirsty?
Why don't you record me? Record me getting you some more water. I like moving this around a lot.
It's cool, right?
Because I'm an audio engineer and I can hear what it sounds like.
This is my voice.
Do what if I do this and then I do that?
Whoa.
Water. You can't cut this out. It's gotta be real. It's gotta be real life. No edits.
This is pretty real.
No edits.
This is pretty real right now.
Take the GoPro into the bathroom with you.
I need multiple angles. This is not flattering for anybody.
You need like the CCTV angle.
Like we're in prison?
Yeah. Black and white with the timestamp on it.
You're just like doing Morse code to people, telling them,
yeah,
I'm in trouble, get me out.
I've listened to so many podcasts and it's so interesting and cool to like hear yourself as a podcast, but only if yourself has anything interesting to say whatsoever.
Dude, you wouldn't listen to this?
And myself doesn't.
You wouldn't listen to this?
No, not at all.
I wouldn't listen to it because it's you and I.
No.
But if I didn't know us, I might listen to it.
I find a way to just listen to you that I didn't have to listen to me.
Yeah. No, that's the weird thing. That goes back to I don't know, man. I wonder what it's like if you're famous and you just I was listening to a podcast the other day and this guy was talking about how he had his comedy special coming out on Netflix and his wife invited a bunch of people over to their house so that they could all watch it together. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, oh, it sounds so awful. I don't want to watch myself on TV with my wife and a bunch of my friends. He's like, I'm just going to go in the other room. And I totally get that, dude. Who wants to? It's weird.
I think at some point, like maybe comedians are different because comedians are so like they're up there because they have a lot of problems that they're trying to deal through. They're just doing it publicly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think for somebody like that's an actual artist or like somebody who has made their career all about them, like Taylor Swift or somebody. We just watched the Taylor Swift documentary, so that's the only person I can think of.
Do tell.
It's a new on Netflix. You got to see it. It's horrible.
Is it bad?
Yeah.
I would watch it.
She's just terrible. She's a terrible person.
She's a fascinating person.
She is fascinating.
Dude, I don't know how you could be that famous.
Yeah.
You know how bad that would suck to just not be able to go anywhere?
But that's the thing. It's like, even, I I'm so judgy. But it's like, even though she's complaining about it, there's something in her. There's some like weird subterranean level that actually loves it, that actually like gets off on it. And I think that's the thing with super famous people is even if they complain about paparazzi and like, I can't go to the store and blah, blah, blah. There's some little tiny thing inside them that has actually always wanted that and has wanted to be famous and has wanted their face somewhere. So I don't know that they get super annoyed listening to themselves or watching themselves, or like, I think they actually get off on it a little bit.
Yeah. I wonder if it's
to be famous. I think you just have to.
Person, you know?
Yeah. I think to be at that level of fame, I think you have to like yourself to some point. You have to like what you're putting out and whatever.
Well, yeah. You're probably not even real at a certain point too, right?
Right. Like once you get to the bare minimum of the person, you're not really real.
Yeah. Well, then, you know.
No offense, Taylor. Because I know you're going to hear this. Taylor. When this is like a 4,000 episode, like $50 million a year
no one's
podcast,
ever going to listen to this.
They're going to be going back to the second episode to the third episode. Oh, he said Taylor Swift sucks. Just kidding.
Yeah, because like once you reach that level and, you know, people are making your treats and people are like clipping your toenails for you.
Making your treats for you?
Yeah, you know.
Okay, can you elaborate on making your treats, please?
Like all your Rice Krispie treats and your brownies, you know.
Like you have a person that just makes your Rice Krispie treats for you?
Of course you do.
Okay.
Yeah, how many... if you were famous... How many people would be in your posse and on the payroll? And what is my job?
Obviously, you would only make my Rice Krispie treats.
It would be so bad. Why would you get me to do it?
I wouldn't be buying that shit. Because you're homeless at that point and you would need some form of income.
Yeah.
Like, all right, you can make my Rice Krispie treats.
I'd be like, what kind of world is this where I work for Matt Helms? What's going on?
The sun has burned out. There is no warmth left in this universe. And somehow I've become the sole provider for mankind.
It could happen.
And you make my Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah. I better
AKA hell freezes over.
I better get on marthastewart.com and figure out what the deal is. You ever made something and just been like, man, I made this. This is fucking good.
No. No, I haven't.
No, you never just made a dank batch of Rice Krispie treats and been like, yeah, me.
No.
No?
I don't like myself enough to compliment myself on making something.
Matt, you're terrible at this. Don't ever try
I mean, these are okay, but they're not as good as Mario Batali makes.
As Taylor Swift's assistant.
Oh, she's just weird, man. And she's just got problems.
Was it
everybody does?
Was it decent overall as a documentary?
No. It was like super self-serving and just like
kind of gross.
It was about her like wanting to. What was the thing that she did? She. What was it? She like made a comment about somebody or. It was when she got in the fight with Kanye. She got in like the super publicized like Twitter fight with Kanye, and then she took a year off after that because like she felt like she was being harassed by people and whatever.
That's a weird situation because she was like 9.5, and he took a trophy from her and said Beyonce was better.
No,
it's gotta be the most awkward situation ever.
I totally forgot that happened. But this was about he wrote a song and there was a lyric in the song that like called her a bitch or something.
Yeah.
And that's what the whole big thing was. But oh man, I forgot about the like VMA or whatever that was thing.
You ever go back and just watch that?
No.
It's so awkward.
That's hilarious.
And he wasn't even like he was famous then, but like he's way more famous now.
Yeah. So she, her whole, or at least how it felt was like her whole documentary was about like her coming back from that like year away. And then like now she's getting super political and she was like, she lives in Nashville and she was all about this senator that was being elected in Nashville because they were super conservative, and it was like a female. It did kind of suck. I mean, it was like a female Trump, basically. And she was the first female senator ever elected in Nashville. But it was like Taylor Swift getting all like crazy political, and like it was just like her trying to have substance whatsoever when she really just doesn't.
But you watched the whole thing.
Yeah, I did watch the whole thing.
And you sang along with all of the hits.
There were a couple good hits in there. She's a great songwriter, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think she does better than most of them. I mean, she's still a fabricated personality that came from a very wealthy family who had connections to the industry. Mm-hmm. So
fabricated personality. That's a good way to say it.
She's a star. They built her. That's why she doesn't seem real, which is sad to say because she's a fucking real person, but she doesn't feel real. It's like she might as well be a video game character or something.
And it's hard to explain, but it's like even this is so like judgmental, but it's like it feels like as deep as she can possibly like feel something, she's still not feeling it for real. Like I still don't think she gets what it is to like feel something deeply because she's a fabricated
even if
person.
She did, she's got so many people telling her what not to do and how to act. Yeah, man, that's a crazy world. Mm-hmm. You can't just be you. She can't just wake up tomorrow and go buy a bag of weed and get high under the bridge.
Yeah.
You know? She can't go to McDonald's and just like slam 2 Big Macs.
Right.
There's no way.
But it's like she wouldn't even know what it meant to be that way, even if she could. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because she's been that person for so long, and like there's so many other people that are telling her how to be a person. I don't know. Yeah. It's so hard to explain.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying.
It's like it's just deep. Trying to find a good Taylor Swift song.
Well, don't play it.
No.
I was going to tell you earlier when you did the Tom Petty. If you play it too long, we'll get kicked off YouTube.
Yes.
Don't do that. We got sponsors, dude.
Stamps.com. You're going to have to cut the Tom Petty out of there then. Damn it. I want to play a Taylor Swift song. It's going to be a good one.
So the other thing I wanted to ask you that was going through my head, and this is just stupid, but I thought about it. Do you remember Blockbuster?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
How many times did you and someone go to Blockbuster and spend so much time trying to find a movie, and then you just couldn't get one, and then you either got something you didn't want or you just left?
Or you found one that you wanted, and then the actual video was never behind the thing. Like you saw the cover of something and got really excited. Like, oh, I've been wanting to watch that for a while. And then there's no actual movie behind it. And you're just screwed.
There's like a finite amount of physical copies. Mm-hmm. Dude, I feel the same way when I browse through Netflix now. Mm. It's a digital Blockbuster. There's so much shit to watch.
You remember when you first heard about Netflix coming out? Like how revolutionary it sounded? I
lived in Phoenix. I was going to school and I signed up for it. And it was like, I can't even remember. It was like $8.99 or $10.99. Mm-hmm. And I think it had different tiers. It's like 1 DVD at a time, 2 or 3. And I think I did the 3. And dude, that's where I watched. That was the first time I watched Lord of the Rings. Yeah. I went through all the Godfathers.
Because they would just mail it to you for free.
Yeah, dude.
And they even sent a return envelope.
Yeah. No, it was cool.
Oh, man,
it was really cool.
Are you kidding me?
But I did not see the digital portion at all.
No.
That was, dude, like what it was then compared to what it is now is insane.
Well, it was like, even when they were just DVDs, they had a huge catalog and it was like everything that Blockbuster had. And so we were like, yeah, it kind of makes sense. And then when they added the digital portion, they had like 1,000 movies.
Oh yeah, it sucked at first.
Like, yeah, there was like, oh, there's no point to even like add that to my subscription or whatever. And then whatever, 2 years, 3 years later, you're like, oh, I don't need physical DVDs anymore. So I can stop that portion of the service and I can only do my digital.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And my kids, they have no concept.
Yeah. Even Redbox came in that like really weird in-between phase where like Blockbuster was just about to go out of business and Netflix was just booming the shit out of it. And then Redbox comes in and you're like, but they're still like physical. I still have to physically go.
Redbox is still killing it though. I see people when I go to the grocery store, I see people getting them all the time.
Is it just because it's like cheaper than Netflix?
I think it's because maybe they get newer titles that Netflix doesn't have. But dude, I just go to some streaming site, you know?
Yeah. Or Hulu. We do Hulu too.
No, but I mean like illegally.
Oh, I wouldn't.
I mean, that's what my friends do.
That.
I heard this guy that I know.
This podcast now sponsored by Kazaa.
Yeah, man. Like, my parents will still go and get Redbox all the time, and I'll be like, by the time you drive there and pay $1 to get it, I'll already have it streaming ready to go. Don't leave.
Is it because they have the newest releases?
It must be. I haven't even looked at a Redbox screen.
Yeah, I haven't either.
A couple years.
That's probably what it is. Because Netflix it'll take them like whatever 3, 4, 5 months after something comes out on DVD probably to really get it going on Netflix. Yeah. So I guess if you've got brand new releases on.
But yeah, that's gonna be a relic within, what do they got? They got 5 years, maybe?
Redbox?
Yeah.
Yeah. With the only like downside to streaming was the price and the availability of the catalog.
Mm-hmm.
And now with like everything imaginable being spread across like Netflix, Hulu, and Disney Plus, it's like, what are you going to need? The only thing could be movies and new releases, which there's something weird. My mom actually does something weird that I don't even know how it works or what it is, but it's some kind of streaming thing where you can watch movies that are only in the theaters.
I heard that they wanted to do that, but I didn't know it was happening yet.
Somebody's doing it.
It's like Movie Pass or something.
Yeah. It's something really weird. And she has it. And it's like a technology thing. And I've never heard of it. Or I don't know how it works.
Your mom is outdoing you?
She did it before I did.
She's got that jar of Nestle Quick just getting her all fired up.
Movie Pass.
I'm going to tell young Matty boy about this.
Well, that's exactly how she talks too. So I was like, I don't remember what it was. I think me and Sarah were going to see the Downton Abbey movie one night, and I was like telling my mom about it. And
she's like, I already saw it.
Seriously, she was like, oh, maybe I'll watch that tonight. It's like, fuck you. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I have to go to a theater to see it because I don't understand technology as well as you do.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, the theater's still good for $12 popcorn and $16 sodas.
Oh my God, they're so expensive. But so many of them now are all about the beer and wine and food. Like they're all getting food.
Yeah, that part's cool.
They're getting like servers to come serve you and things. And that's a cool model that's started.
Yeah, the first time I ever did that was in Hood River at, I forget what it's called. I think it's called Andrew's Pizza. But they would straight up make you an enormous pizza. And you'd order beers and you'd go in and sit down. They'd have the couches and futons and beanbags and shit.
That's super cool.
That's cool. And that was like 10 years ago. And that was like unheard of. But now there's more like what's the big chain? They have one over in Washington.
Cinetopia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They were kind of a pioneer in that too, where they had a normal movie theater and then they have one with like super comfortable chairs. And then they have one that is like a living room with all the couches and the beanbags and things. And it only seats like 30 people.
Yeah.
and the tickets are $20 a piece or whatever.
Yeah, that's probably cool. Like if you got a birthday party or something, you rent it out for your friends.
And the big theater was like, you could go buy any of the food at the restaurant and take it into the big theater. And then the medium theater with the nicer seats had waiters and waitresses, and they would come in and serve you the same food. And so it was like but they were one of the first ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was before all the Regals and everybody started going super beer and wine and all that kind of stuff, which they all do now.
Yeah.
But they were one of the first ones to really do that. And it used to be a cool experience. And they also had really, really nice projectors and sound and screens and all that kind of stuff. Which helped out a lot.
That's the major upside, especially if you're going to go see the Avengers movie or like Tarantino or whatever.
Yeah, something super action-y.
Yeah.
1917, which I still haven't seen yet. Have you seen
I was supposed to go with those guys, and they went when I was out of town, and then I watched it here.
Is it already? You can stream it?
Yeah, it's out.
Illegally?
It's out. No, it's totally legal.
Where?
Netflix.com/1917.
No, that movie's not on Netflix.
Dude,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's really good.
Is it?
It's really good. It's supposed
won like 5
dude,
Academy
it should win.
Awards or something?
It should win every award.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing. They make it look like it's one shot, which there's no way they could do that.
The entire movie?
Yeah, dude. It's
I've
really
never seen
good.
an entire movie done like that. There have been some like, what was the Christopher Nolan movie that was World War II?
Dunkirk.
Yeah. There was like a 25-minute scene in there that was legitimately a single camera shot.
They did it in Children of Men too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've never seen an entire movie that was supposed to look like that.
There's one movie where they did the entire thing. One take movie.
Dunkirk was really good.
Okay,
whatever.
I need to watch it again. I wasn't that impressed. No, like cinematically it was amazing, but I felt like it just wasn't a cool enough story. Like nothing really happened.
And you're saying that about Christopher Nolan?
I like Christopher Nolan. Okay, so it's called Russian Ark. This is a legit one-shot 96-minute movie.
Wow.
I think that's the only one that they've ever done it for real.
I'd almost be more interested to see a documentary about the making of the movie than
that's
anything
insane.
else. I'd rather watch them film the movie for 90 minutes than actually watch the movie.
I don't think the movie's very good, but
how do you even do that?
That's what's cool about 1917 is it's following these two dudes. So they're trying to deliver a message to tell the front line to not attack because it's an ambush. And the only place they can cut is when they like go into a dark room. Yeah. Because everything else looks legit. So yeah, there's probably 5 to 8 minute segments that are one shot. Right. But there's not a ton of dialogue. They're just walking somewhere. Yeah. That's crazy. It's really good though. And the other one is, have you heard of the Adam Sandler Uncut Gems? It's really good too. He's a diamond. He runs a diamond store, and it's got Kevin Garnett in it, the basketball player. And there's like this fancy opal that he gets in that's worth millions of dollars. Yeah. And he lets Kevin Garnett borrow it. And then all this stuff happens, but it's so hectic, and there's people screaming and talking on cell phones, and all this shit's happening all the time. Like, it's very chaotic, and you just like feel tense while you're watching it.
That sounds real dumb.
It's good. I love it when Adam Sandler does a movie where he's not like Adam Sandler. Right? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
okay.
yeah.
I think I've seen previews for it.
Yeah, dude, it's good. Yeah.
It's like in the 70s. Is it set in the 70s?
No, because it follows the timeline of, I think it was the 2013 or 2014 NBA Finals, because that's why they used Kevin Garnett, because they used real footage from the NBA Finals.
Oh, okay.
And the Celtics were in that.
Maybe he just looked like he was from the 70s.
He looks like he's from the 70s.
Adam Sandler.
The soundtrack is like, you ever seen Drive with Ryan Gosling?
So
It's just like very
I like
80s.
Ryan Gosling,
Oh, I know you do.
Right.
Posters on your wall.
Up top.
No, it's just like synth heavy, you know, and just like 80s out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like The Notebook.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, she was great in that.
He was good.
Dude,
You're a bird, I'm a bird.
he doesn't really do much with his face, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's more about below the neck.
Yeah,
I
I
think for him.
mean, the ladies enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
The ladies really like
He's
him, but
building a boat or whatever he builds. He builds a house or something.
Hey, Ryan,
Just go build
stuff.
a
We'll
house.
film you for a little while. We don't have the fucking story figured out yet, but
We're
just go
gonna call
build
it
stuff.
The Notebook.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool, probably.
Just make sure your shirt's off. We'll probably call it The Notebook. So what's this podcast about? Podcasts have to have a theme.
This one doesn't. We're just
Maxwell House.
we can't use that. Somebody already took it. I don't know, dude. I gotta come up with some ideas, and so I got 2 episodes now. I gotta figure out what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta
Get some sponsors.
get some sponsors.
Make $1 million.
Oh, dude.
Quit your job.
Yeah.
Steps 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Sounds so easy. Step 4, get Ryan Gosling posters on the wall.
Get him to be on the show. We need a third mic. That was my mom's jam growing up, was Maxwell House.
Yeah?
The like
Tell her she has good taste.
The freeze dried stuff you'd keep in the fridge.
Yeah, they used to call me that. That's cool.
It's terrible.
Yeah, you're not about that life, are you?
No.
She scarred you.
Can't do it.
Turned you the other direction.
Or she may be the reason that I enjoy the smell of coffee.
Oh.
I don't know.
You enjoy the smell more than the taste?
No, but like growing up, like a lot of people just don't start drinking coffee because they hate the smell of it or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think I like the smell so much. I never started drinking it until I was, somewhere in my 20s.
Yeah.
Same thing with alcohol, actually. I didn't really start liking drinking until I was like 22, 23. It's crazy.
It's pretty awesome.
I didn't know anything about beer. I thought beer was Budweiser. And as a kid, I thought Budweiser smelled like shit. And I didn't know that other types of beer existed.
You were hanging out in Anderson, Indiana.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the only beer in Anderson, Indiana. Seriously.
Yeah, they probably. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's different now, but I'm sure they didn't have any brew pubs back then.
Oh no,
Yeah.
and they do now. Yeah, they have a micro distillery downtown for this little tiny town.
Yeah.
I remember I met my wife, and she was super into. She had lived in Montana for a couple of years, where they had some microbrews, and she was super into Fat Tire and Newcastle, and those were mind blowing to me. Those were some of the first beers that I got super into because I was like, oh, this is not Budweiser.
Yeah.
This tastes like something real. I still have a super nostalgic place in my heart for Fat Tire.
Takes you right back.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Now I like alcohol.
Yeah. I know the secret to your heart. It's Fat Tire. All right. Well, we should wrap this up. Buddy.
We got plenty of time, bro.
I got my kids coming over to eat some potato soup. Potato soup.
Dude, you have an issue with potato soup.
It's good, dude. I didn't put too much rosemary in it this time.
Have to have an intervention sometime soon.
I'll bring some for you tomorrow.
Okay.
Or I won't. I'll just let you watch me eat it really slowly and spill it on my my beard.
I love a good potato soup. That was my first soup that I liked. I never liked soup growing up.
It's good. I mean, if you don't fuck it up and put too much rosemary, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, dude, I like it because then you have, depending on how enormous you are, you have lunch and lunch.
It
and
heats
lunch.
up really well.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always loved the Panera Bread potato soup.
Is it good?
They would only do it on... Originally, they would only do it on whatever, like Mondays or Wednesdays or something. And that was the first soup I had that I was like, oh, I might like soup now because this is pretty legit.
I haven't eaten much of their food. But, dude, we can talk about fast food soups for days on the next one, okay?
What are you talking about?
Like Quiznos.
Do they have soups?
They had soups, man.
They have like chili or something.
They had broccoli cheddar.
Mm-hmm.
They had chili. They had some nasty Southwest corn something. But, dude, I also worked at a deli in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Gandolfo's Deli.
That sounds dumb.
Oh, man.
Actually sounds like Lord of the Rings.
Change your life, son. Change your life. We also got one free sandwich there. But, dude, I worked with all these high school girls, and I was 21. And, dude, I showed you that picture with me with the beard.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I had the beard, and they thought I was just some weird homeless dude. And
you basically were.
The owner trusted them more than me. So he would give them the keys to lock up the shop. I don't know why, but he thought I was a weirdo or something. And we were able to take home one sandwich, and they had a bunch of different kinds of bread, and they had this circular Kaiser roll or something. But dude, it was this big.
Yeah.
And I would load that bitch up with so much meat and cheese. And I'd go home and I'd sit cross-legged on my floor in the living room because I didn't have a table.
You didn't have any furniture.
Yeah. All I had was a twin mattress and a twin, what's the thing underneath?
Box spring?
Box spring. That's all I had in the living room. No table, no chairs, no nothing.
It's pretty similar to now.
Basically, my life has not changed in 20 years.
You've gone right back to the start.
No, when I lived at this other place, we used to call it a heroin mattress. Because if you just have a twin mattress chilling on the ground, like you're probably doing heroin mattress.
With no box spring.
No box spring. Dude, that's a dark.
Or what about just an air mattress?
That's pretty dark too. I've done that before.
As an adult. You come home to a single room and an air mattress.
Man. Dude, I slept on a cot for months. Going through a divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some places you can sleep where you're like, it's got to get better because it doesn't get worse. Life's looking up for me.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's like the twin mattress on the floor in the living room.
That one's okay because I was only 20. 22.
How old were you when you got married?
20. We got married in 2010, so I was 26.
You got married in 2010?
Mm-hmm.
I had a kid in 2010.
Yeah. It was a good year.
We were married in 05. Still married in 05. Got married to my first wife in 05.
Yeah. Yeah. Those aughts.
Mm-hmm.
They were good.
Mm-hmm.
They were good times.
So
it was different, man.
You were 23? No, you were
23 when we had our first son. Yep.
20. How old were you when you got married?
How old was I when I got married?
You were like 26 when you got married, weren't you?
That's what I just said.
Oh, did you?
You're not even paying attention to me anymore.
This portion of the podcast sponsored by Hellcat Maggie.
Yeah, 23 when we had Elliot, and then 26 when we got married, and she was pregnant with Fiona. So we went to Vegas and got married. It was the best wedding ever.
Dude, you know who's doing that?
Who?
Britain.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I was so stoked when she said she would go for it. I was like, are you sure? Like, this is a big deal. Like, dudes don't care. Girls are usually, they want it to be something. And she's like, nope, I don't want to deal with all the behind the scenes bullshit. Let's go to Vegas. And I was like, cool. And so we went down there and we paid $600. Her brother and sister-in-law, and then my friend that I worked with from the convention center, he lived there.
Oh, that's cool.
And I called him up. I was like, hey, dude, I'm in Vegas today. I'm getting married tonight. You want to come? And he's like, yeah, dude, I'll be there.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So there were 5 people, including
Did
us.
you do like a Elvis wedding?
I should have. I didn't have chops at that point, but could have thrown them on.
Britton said they're going to look for or he knows of a place that's like an aquarium, and you get married inside the aquarium.
In the water?
No, just
Like
with
a Speedo?
like, you can wear a Speedo, but it's like you're like inside the tank and there's all the fish like swimming around you. You know what I mean?
Is he into fish?
I guess so.
Huh.
He's kind of a fish guy.
Kind of a fish guy. Didn't take him for a fish guy.
He's a fish guy. Yeah, fish guy.
Like a fish guy.
What was I going to say? So how old was she?
We have the same birthday. She's 1 year younger.
Oh, okay.
So she was 25.
Yeah. So Sarah was 20. She turned 25 the year we got married. Right? Yeah. And I turned 21.
She's older than you.
She's 4 years
older. 4 years older?
Mm-hmm.
You were 21 when you got married?
I turned 21 in June and we got married in August.
Damn.
So I wasn't
Young
even
blood.
So I wasn't even into alcohol or anything at that point.
She changed your life.
We had like a champagne toast at our wedding. That's the only alcohol we had. And a bunch of our friends who were drinkers or like her friends would, people, I don't know. There were like a bunch of sort of conservative Christian people at the reception where it was like to the point where it was a discussion at the beginning of like whether we could have alcohol or not at the wedding.
Yeah.
It was kind of sad, but that had to be a discussion. And it ended up just being, okay, we'll just do a champagne toast, so it'll be fine. So everybody would have like a couple sips of the champagne because like they don't really drink or whatever, except for all our friends who actually did drink. And so they were grabbing like bottles of the champagne and like taking it back to their hotel with them that night.
Nice.
Because there was no other alcohol at the wedding.
Wow. Yeah, dude, we didn't even get into that. I wanted to get into some religion stuff, but
dude, we got time.
We'll have to save it for the next time.
Let's do it. Let's do it right now.
We got to shut it down. Episode number 2. Matthew Helms. Yeah.
A non-recurring guest. Cheers.
As soon as I cut it, this is the last one I'm doing. I ain't coming back.
Never talking to this perv again.